The idea that in America, unshackled from the history of feudalism, you could rise as far as your talents would take you.
Meritocracy would be a system that says that success is based on merit, or in other words,
simply the idea that the harder you work, the further you go.
An example of pure meritocracy would be sports, because the harder you work, the better you are. Many people believe that our economy is a meritocracy, which is not true. There are too many variables for anyone to argue otherwise. For example, how rich is your family and how much status do they have? Who are you friends with? Are you outgoing or are you shy? Are you charismatic maybe? What school did you attend and what opportunities were you presented with? Even gender and race may pose barriers to success.
Well, think about this. In 37 states, it's legal to deny women health insurance simply because they're women. And according to Prevention Magazine, 95% of insurance companies that offered individual health plans practicing gender rating or gender-related denials.
Anytime a black person is successful, they say, oh, yeah, affirmative action. I mean, Justice Sotomayor, great example. Went to Princeton, excelled at Princeton, and when she's nominated for the Supreme Court, what does Rush Limbaugh say? Oh, yeah, she's Latina.
We live in a world where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and this gap is only expanding and expanding. The more unequal society gets, the more people dwell on the idea of meritocracy. As Pierre Bourdieu would argue, class is so deeply embodied that it is extremely hard to shake off, as it's part of one's habitus. In other words, the lifestyle, values, and dispositions acquired through the activities and experiences of everyday life. So class does matter. Where you stand matters.
It is that we are degenerating into a caste-based society where the poor and middle classes are trapped by inherited unequal access to culture, education, and self-development.
And the advantages and disadvantages seem to be passed down generations.
The single greatest determinant of a child's future prosperity is not personal characteristics, but the father's annual income.
Affluent parents talk to their kids more than 3 hours a week on average, more than poor parents.
Class mobility is linked to meritocracy. The less mobile people are, the more meritocracy is just a myth. For example, some Western nations are not mobile at all, so we definitely cannot argue that they have the same opportunities. Another example would be state universities, which value mobility. But what does actually happen? They come to mimic private schools, which embody inequalities and offer less chances for students from poorer families to have the chance to gather the money to enter. It all sounds like a dream now, built on the idea of having equal opportunities, but rather substituted with lies which everybody stands for, only when it suits them.
For all the people who argued all that time, well, look, all we care about is that meritocracy. All of a sudden, when you flip it on their ass, and then they're not getting into the school, well, did we say affirmative action is...